How's it going, guys? My name's Artorigold, and today I'm going to be going over a VOD review for Orisa that I am playing on my Master's Smurf account. I think this is a 3700-3800 game, somewhere around there. So Orisa is a really strong tank character combined with Roadhog. It looks like this game I'm actually going to be solo tanking, but Orisa is a very strong tank character specifically on defense, and it can also work really well on offense on certain maps. Usually payload maps are really good for Orisa because you can use your shield on the payload and help move it forward, which is something that's really nice utility. So what I'm going to do is you have like 150 shots and you put out pretty damage output, and I have a Junkrat, so we're going to win the shield war. So that's something I'm going to focus on as Orisa. If I have a Junkrat, I'm going to make sure not to feed the Zarya, and I'm going to try to right click her. One of the things you want to do with your right click, so I'm going to rewind a little bit, talk about this. So if you see somebody exposed, so you'll notice here, I'm going to use my right click just to group people up, which is something you should do when you have a Junkrat, because your Junkrat's going to do a lot more AoE damage on people when they're grouped up. But one of the main things you want to use your right click when people are trying to push in, if you see that the Reinhardt isn't there, and the enemy team is just exposed and out in the open. See, look at this Zarya. The Reinhardt is nowhere near her, right? So if I use my right click here, right after she bubbles, I can keep her there because it slows her, and then my team will be able to get more damage on her, potentially a kill. So here, I'm going to do it. Unfortunately, it's out of range, but I do get the Hanzo. And because I get the Hanzo, and the Reinhardt's off to the side somewhere, it's an easy pick. So that's something you should utilize with your right click as Orisa. Not only is it really good at comboing with other people for other crazy abilities, it's also really good at just slowing the momentum of the team, and also helps bring people together. So when you have AoE damage like a Pharah or a Junkrat, it's really powerful. So here, definitely shoot at the shield. You win the shield war every time, especially with the Junkrat. If you had a Roadhog, even more so. So you want to peel as much as possible as Orisa with your right click. And one of the things also I haven't talked about yet is your Fortify ability. So your Fortify ability makes you so tanky, and it stops a lot of abilities. One of the main things that you want to use your Fortify for is if a Reinhardt is charging, you can use your Fortify, and then when he charges at you, he just stops and nothing happens to you. So that's one of the main things you want to do. So using your right click on enemies trying to escape is huge. I'm going to break the bubble. I don't care. We have a Junkrat. And he's 1 HP. Really unfortunate. We just needed like a tiny little bit of damage there. And look at that. See, if you use a right click properly like that, the enemy's going to have the toughest time trying to engage and escape. Even though I don't have a Roadhog or a second tank with me, Orisa is a pretty good solo tank. By no means is she weak. If the enemy team had a shield damage comp, then Orisa would be really tougher. So what I'm trying to do here is she's trying to be sneaky, right? She's trying to get in there, and then she'll probably go up the stairs and flank or try to go around here and get behind us. But because of my right click, I'm going to keep her just right here. And because of that, she's exposed, she's alone, and my Junkrat's able to get free shots on her, which is something you want to do as Orisa. You want to single people out in positions they don't want to be in. Unfortunately, she has a pretty tanky shield. Brigitte's really hard to kill. And she's going to go ahead and try to engage on my Hanzo. Don't be afraid to back up either. Give the enemy team some space as a tank. It's okay. If you're a solo tank, I think it's better than anything to give up space in order to live. If you have 2 tanks, then maybe that's different. So here, classic mistake. I got distracted by the Tracer, and because of that, the Reinhardt moved in. So I wasn't even looking. I could have used Fortify to stop that, or maybe even got my shield off to stop that. So that was a pretty big mistake by me. So here, I'm going to try to counter with my Supercharger, which allows you to put out a lot of damage. I even get the Nano Boost. So here, I'm pretty sure I just shred through people. And just reload. Reloading with Orisa is such a pain, actually. I probably shouldn't have shot at the Zarya shield right there. That was a mistake. I got a little cocky because I was getting the Mercy and my Supercharger. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel as much as possible. Sometimes you can just shoot bullets even if there's no one there because it's a projectile, and it'll kind of zone enemies away. One of the things you should try to do with your weapon is try to go for the head box. You can go for the head box really easy as Orisa. So here I want to use my right click for sure. Keep them all grouped together for my Junkrat. And sometimes when you use your right click, what you want to try to do is shoot it into the air, because if you shoot it into the air, it makes it really difficult for the enemy to dodge any damage. I have my Fortify. I think I used my Fortify already. If the enemy team's trying to shoot you, unfortunately, we're going to go down there. They just had too much damage output. But if the enemy team's trying to get behind your shield and trying to engage you behind your shield, then you want to back up and you want to use your right click to get them off of you. Or you can go in between your shield and go moving back and forth between the shield. Kind of like how you would as a Winston bubble, right? You would just move back and forth between it. So here, I'm not going to use Fortify. You don't want to waste Fortify. Fortify is such a strong ability. You want to save for when an enemy team gets on you. Also keep in mind, look at that range. Look at the range of the right click. It's a really far range. So you got to keep in mind your right click range is huge. So there's few uses you want to use it for. Like I said before, grouping targets up is excellent, especially if you have things like a Riptire who's going to go for multiple kills. But it's also really good to just single an enemy out, which is something I'm going to do a lot, right? I'm going to do it a lot. I'm just going to single enemies out because it's an easy pick, especially on targets like Brigitte. You want to use your right click to single targets with no mobility, such as Brigitte, because if she's alone and exposed, there's nothing a Brig can do. She's just going to die to all the damage output. So Supercharger is actually a really underrated ability. I think it does so much damage. And I would say use a Supercharger probably near the beginning of a fight, and you want to use it at a kind of an angle at a corner to where you can protect it. You want to use it right after you can use a barrier. It's actually insane that I got nanoed right there, but because of the nano, I was able to stay alive, which is really nice. And also, I think Pulse Bomb got nerfed to almost no ends. So here, I'm going to try to peel as much as I can. As Orisa, you shouldn't waste too much time hitting the tanks. You don't have the damage output to kill a tank if they're at full health. It's better for you to maybe go for the weaker targets because you can put more pressure on them than on the tank. The tanks won't care too much. If you land a lot of headshots, then that's a different story. Getting a little chip damage in and try to build your ult is always good. But if you use your Supercharger near the beginning of the fight, it can pretty much, you got to tell your team you're going to use it. A lot of people call it different things. You could call it a Supercharger. A lot of people like to call it a bongo. Just say you're about to drop the bongo and no other ults. And typically you can actually just win off of that as long as you protect the bongo. So here I'm going to use the right click. Get the diva right down to me. The thing with the Orisa is you're very stationary. It's kind of like playing Bastion in a way. And it's one of the reasons why you're kind of similar to playing like a Bastion, as you're very stationary and you want people to come to you, but you can also deal a lot of damage to the enemy team as they come to you. So you also work well with Bastions too. If you have a payload map like Junkertown, having a Bastion Orisa is actually extremely good on that map. So one of those things, as you just saw, that you need to worry about with the right click is that you can get a your diva can eat that. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is I want to stand on this Junkrat trap. You see this Junkrat trap here? I'm going to stand on it. So if anybody tries to engage on me, they're going to get trapped. Like if Reinhardt tries to charge on me, he's just going to get trapped. So always aim at the head hitbox too. The head hitbox is definitely the best thing. And whenever you're low, use Fortify. I actually use Fortify really late there. But as you'll see, the trap worked for me in this situation. See, the Genji gets stuck right in the trap because I get really low health. So another thing about the trap is because Orisa has such a large body, you're going to cover up the trap and they're not going to see it. So whenever they try to dive on you when you're low health, they're actually going to get punished for it. See, he just dies immediately because he dives me when I'm at low health. And because of that, he gets stuck in the trap. So just shoot at the head hitbox. Don't even try to body people as Orisa. Just go for headshot damage. Honestly, shooting the body it's okay, but if you can go for the head hitbox, it's insane. It's actually, I don't know why, but it's so easy to hit a head hitbox as Orisa. Anybody that's played Orisa will probably know what I'm talking about, but trying to shoot at someone in the body when they're low health to finish them off is good. But if you're fighting against anybody, it just seems like the Orisa projectile has so much spread that it's able to hit a head hitbox fairly easily. So overall, it was a pretty good defense. Especially considering I was solo tanking, I think that was pretty good. I think if the enemy team could have gone a more shield break composition, because I was solo tanking, so it would have been really easy for them to just push forward through the front line. So Orisa works really well against enemy team comps that don't have too much frontline damage, and you could really just stand your ground. Really, just quite literally just stand your ground, and the enemy team will not be able to move you. If they do try to dive you too much, you can always activate Fortify, which is something you should do, and then use your right clicks to get them away from you, and then use your shield in order to create some space before they're able to do damage to you again, and hopefully your healers will have you healed up here. So pushing on offense with Orisa, you kind of want to push a little bit at a time and try to get people singled out with your right clicks. You want to push them, you want to get them singled out instead of grouped together. Depending on your team compositions, because we don't have a Junkrat anymore, keeping them grouped together is only okay. Look at that damage. So one of the things with Orisa, I mean, this guy, I don't know what he's thinking, but he just gets melted. I think I also had a mercy damage boost me for that too, but still, even without that, you land the headshots on it, it's super easy to push forward. And if you see a Reinhardt, don't be afraid to get in there and just start hitting his headbox. A hitbox on his head is very, very large. Every tank is really easy to get. Now that they have a shield break, it's a lot difficult for your shield to stay alive. But see right there, if you have a Roadhog with Orisa, it's just so deadly. Just use your voice chat and just tell them I'm going to right click in 3, 2, 1, and then you want to use it to the side or in the air, and then Roadhog can time his or his Roadhog could time his hook just in time in order to get the guy. Even if they're behind a shield, you can right click them outside the shield. And I can't stress enough, just look at the range. Look at the range of the right click. It's just crazy. By no means should you not take advantage of that. This is the great way for you to just, single enemies out. So here I should be activating my, yeah, Fortify. I activated my Fortify a little bit late. We're going to be losing this fight, I think. Yeah. So that's one of the things you have to worry about as Orisa. If you're alone, the enemy team can shield break you and take you out fairly quickly. Unfortunately, I think my Roadhog was flanking in the castle, so he wasn't with me there. So I should have played a little bit more careful and backed up. I'm going to go ahead and bongo and then get them away, but unfortunately, I got dragoned from the back. It's not something you always expect, but I think you can see the kill cam. Yep. Oh no, the dragon came somewhere from inside the castle, actually. Yeah, that's really unlucky. You can't really plan for a dragon to come at that angle from there. You just don't expect it. I think I heard it. I just didn't know where it was. So also, one of the things with Orisa, you don't be afraid to put your shield like really far ahead sometimes. It can be really good. And here we're just going to make some clean, just some nice cleanup here, right? So your shield is a projectile. You can shoot it ahead of the enemy team too. So if you're like really far away, just shoot your shield really far up. You can do that to just prevent damage, which is also very viable, especially if like you're coming back from spawn a little late or something. So all around, that was a pretty good game. The things to take away from this game: use your Fortify when enemy abilities are coming towards you, such as Reinhardt Charge, because you can stop that, or if you see burst damage coming out, such as a Pulse Bomb or a Riptire. Any burst damage, you can use your Fortify to stay alive from that. Use your right click to group enemies together if you have things to combo with, such as Junkrat. And an additional way, you can use your right click for environmental kills on certain maps, which is really good. Don't be afraid to use your supercharger. Your supercharger can be really game-changing. Everybody underestimates how much damage your supercharger can put out. You just need to make sure that you put it in a place where it's going to affect everybody and it's protected. Make sure to do it on advantages around natural cover that can protect it. If your teammates are all behind you, you can kind of keep it around corners in certain situations so the enemy team can't hit it, but everybody behind you is able to receive it. Don't be afraid to waste your ammo on breaking Reinhardt shields as they come in, and always make sure to watch your ammo. If you reload in the middle of a fight, you have a very long reload time, so you do have to be pretty cautious on when that reload's going to happen. Anyways, that's about all I got for you guys today. Make sure to leave a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.